well, you may have heard by now, folks. Congressman Lee Zeldin was approached, we'll just say, by a disgruntled patron while giving a speech in front of veterans. The man proceeded to try to stab him with some sort of Hello Kitty keychain.
It was not Hello Kitty.
It was not Hello Kitty?
It was a kitty.
It was, all right, so they're all the same to me, but
No.
I've been corrected by the real journalist on the couch.
Or the big Hello Kitty fan.
The dude coming up and saying, "You're done." Now, Lee Zeldin, a veteran himself, grabbed the attacker's wrist in an attempt to neutralize him. Why supporters jumped all over him, subdued him. Now the congressman returned to stage shortly after and said, "I bet the guy's out of jail in 24 hours or less." He was right.
He was right.
But the suspect has since been arrested again by federal authorities. So, joining me now, friend of the show and Republican gubernatorial candidate for the state of New York, Congressman Lee Zeldin. Sir, glad you're okay. Appreciate you joining us.
Of course. It's great to be with you all.
Yeah. So, Kathy Hochul, though, sent an email alert about your rallies, encouraging her supporters to attend. I mean, this seems unprecedented to me. What do you make of this?
The whole incident, the entire attack was something that strikes to the core of any freedom-loving American who wants to see scores that people might have against others settled at a ballot box. Political violence has no place during any of this electoral process. I encourage people to get involved, to vote, to be informed. But what we also have to do is make sure that people aren't taking matters into their own hands, interfering with what was a campaign rally this past Thursday, which then turned violent. Fortunately, wasn't any worse than what it was. This isn't something that is just some isolated event. Over the course of these last few years, I'm in my fourth term in Congress, serving in the House through the Steve Scalise shooting. Watching what happened most recently with the Supreme Court justices trying to be intimidating at the homes where they live with their families. Maxine Waters, who I serve with on the House Financial Services Committee, she's the chair of that committee, having called on her supporters to confront Trump administration officials at movie theaters and restaurants. Listen, we can't be deterred. You can't just decide, all right, I'm not going to go to any restaurant or a movie theater because Maxine Waters called for confrontation. But as we've seen in that incident and in other incidents, is that people actually do take matters into their own hands. They heed that advice. So that's a sensitivity that I think people need to have right now. If you are running a campaign, if you are the candidate, tell a message, send a message to your supporters and others. Political violence has no place. We settle our scores at the ballot box. We all need to tell everybody that.
Yeah, Congressman, your attacker, your attempted attack, well, your attacker, he attacked you, told investigators that he had no idea it was a political rally, that he had no idea that a congressman was speaking or that you specifically were speaking. He also said he'd been drinking whiskey earlier in the day. For you, the man who he approached, who he attacked, you thought very quickly in that moment. I was very impressed with how quickly you recovered, and you got some laughs out of it, too. But how does that make you feel? I mean, it must have been very scary in the moment. Do you think your attacker is walking things back, or do you really think he was completely clueless?
Well, I do believe, from what I've been told, that he was under the influence. I've had multiple people tell me that. And the point that he says that he doesn't know, who I am, or that he was at a campaign rally, it's just somewhat unbelievable, even if he was under the influence. He's claiming just total ignorance at all. But listen, this is about him accepting responsibility. If you want to talk about what the right thing is here, he came up on that stage with a weapon in his hand and lunged towards my throat saying, "You're done." Yeah. The idea that you're just going to say that, you have no responsibility for any of that is just quite unbelievable.
Yeah, but Congressman, the increasing issue is when there's an attack against Republicans, it's an isolated incident. When it's attacking against a Democrat, it's a larger white supremacy, MAGA king,
that's a good point.
Conservative problem. What do you make of that?
Well, I've noticed that some stations, it's been near total blackout. I mean, MSNBC isn't covering this basically just about at all. And for you making the observation that you are, you realize that if the shoe was on the other foot, it would be wall-to-wall coverage. And by the way, not on top of covering this, they would then be calling on every congressional Republican and all other Republicans running for any office in the 2022 cycle to all issue their statements condemning it, or else then they're part of some larger theory and the narrative goes further and further with these other effects.
Yeah.
So I think it's just important to be consistent with coverage. The media has a First Amendment right that we need to protect. The media serves an important purpose. Consistency is important too.